Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. All right, so a paid question for Woody. He writes, "Hi Austin, big fan. Last year I bought a Rolex Daytona on the gray market for just under 25,000 USD. I'm sure I overpaid for it, especially given the reduction in prices right now in Asia due to the coronavirus. You know, I haven't noticed any price drops because of the coronavirus, but maybe it's just too early to tell." He continues, "But I love it and wanted to reward myself for selling my company. My question is this. I recently removed the black dial that it came with and replaced it with an ice blue dial. What do you think? Do you like it better or worse? Have I irreparably damaged the value of the watch even though I still have the black dial? I had an option to buy the platinum version, but just didn't like the brown bezel and brown subdials. I much prefer the black for both and the price. Anyway, please let me know what you think, and I'll be sending my PayPal payment in about 5 minutes. Thank you, Woody." Thanks, Austin, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts. P.S. Did you know the word ninja appears in your email address? Pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. austininjapan@gmail.com. True enough, in Japanese, ninja does appear there, and I think that gives you an indication as to my profession. I think I've said too much. All right, let's move on. All right, so Woody, what do I think? Well, look, there are two camps. There's the purist camp, and anything unsanctioned by Rolex or unoriginal to the piece is sort of frowned upon. And then the other extreme is sort of an ultra casual approach. And if it looks like a Rolex and it has Rolex on the dial and the people around you think it's a Rolex, good enough, right? And, you know, perhaps it is a real, well, quote, real Rolex, and it's got a few aftermarket parts in the movement and an aftermarket bracelet and a replacement bezel insert. And good enough, right? It's a Rolex, right? No problem. Well, people in the purist camp would look at a watch like that and would question if it's still a Rolex anymore. I mean, at best, it's a highly compromised Franken watch. And, you know, these are two extremes, and everybody's going to fall somewhere between these two extremes. And myself, I mean, I'm pretty firmly in that purist camp. I mean, anything that's not sanctioned by a Rolex, it bothers me. I mean, you're talking to a guy that can't spend 24 hours with a NATO strap on his watch before, you know, I start feeling like something's wrong and incorrect. I mean, even if it's a sanctioned Rolex part that they have blessed, like my replacement bezel insert for my 14060 no date sub, I mean, yeah, you know, that's I mean, it's a real Rolex part, sanctioned by Rolex, still drives me nuts. So as you can imagine, I'm not too keen about what you did. But you probably knew that. I mean, it's sort of like asking your priest if you know what he thinks of the fact that you got a subscription to Hustler to go with your Playboy and Penthouse collection. You know, I'm in the fanatic camp. I think people kind of know that, and so it's no surprise that what you did doesn't appeal to me, all right? And I wouldn't have done it, and it would drive me crazy knowing that it's got an aftermarket part in there. Do I like it better or worse? All right, well, let's just forget about the purity issue for a minute. And if I just look at the dial color, really, I still like the black more. I mean, I think I'm a white dial Daytona guy, but between these two, I have to say I think the black looks better in my opinion than the ice blue dial, which I've never been a fan of the, say, ice blue, you know, Daytonas and the day dates and platinum. It's really not my kind of thing. But on top of that, you've got the purity issue as well, and that's why I'm much more drawn to the way the watch was when you got it. All right. But look, it's your watch, so you can do with it as you please. And, you know, people sometimes change watches. And look, I got to give credit to a person that looks at a Rolex and says, well, you know, to hell with what Rolex would do or would sanction, and you know, I'm going to make it my own and do what I want. And there was a guy on the Rolex forum that didn't like the polished middle links on his BLNR, his Batman GMT Master 2, and he had them brushed so they look like this. And it's not something I would do. I think he devalued the watch, but he didn't like it, and he resolved it. And look, you are not crazy about the brown bezel and the brown subdials of the platinum ice blue dialed Daytona. So, you fixed it. So who cares what I think? I mean, if you're happy with it, I think that's all that matters. Now, the big question there is, have I irreparably damaged the value of the watch even though I still have the black dial? Well, thank God you have the black dial. Keep it safe. Make sure nothing happens to it, you don't lose it, and it doesn't get damaged in any way. And you can always have it put back in. Nobody will be the wiser. Now, personally speaking, if I were looking at a pre-owned piece and I knew that it had an aftermarket dial in it, but it was then taken out and the original put back in it, it still would sort of taint the watch to me. So that would appeal to me, but again, I don't think anybody will be the wiser. So really, no problem. I was curious about the dial. He bought it on Google. We did a Google search and he found it cost $300 and he paid $50 to have a watchmaker put it in. Now, when it comes to a new watch, I don't think anybody but somebody at RSC should be in that watch. So the fact that, in my opinion, a guy that wasn't supposed to be in that watch was in that watch would bother me. And, were the hands damaged in any way? I don't know. That would concern me. That would sort of add to the dissatisfaction I would feel to know this had been done to my watch. But again, I'm a fanatic. Okay, you're clearly more towards this casual sort of approach, and if you're happy with the watch, I think that's all that matters. And you didn't do anything irreparable, all right, like polishing your brushing your polished middle link. So you can put it back, no problem, all right. But what do you guys think? All right, well, I'll put a poll right here. Do you approve of what Woody did? Yes or no? Well, I'll be voting, but put your comments in the comment section. Thank you, Woody. Look, above all, it's your watch. You do what you want. Should you care what I think? Not really. This is a fun hobby, and I don't want my opinion about your watch to detract from your enjoyment about it or of it. So enjoy it. Have the dial put back in later. And, different approaches, right? Horses for courses, as they say. And let me know what you think about purity in Rolex, what Woody did. Would you have done that? Have you replaced parts? Would you replace parts? I got to tell you, I was thinking at one point about putting a display case back on one of my Rolexes. Thought better of it. It would drive me nuts. Anyway, let me know what you think. Take care. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.